We call the meeting to order, please. First item on our agenda is speaking from any unknowns from the outside here. Hearing none. Okay, can you get rid of that main thing there, Jeff?
Which?
That meeting is being recorded. Pictures across the whole page.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know everybody else.
I can't.
I'm losing Ryan Burns. I can't see him and somebody else, whoever is behind him.
I think you just got to
click OK on it or got it or whatever it says on your screen.
On my screen, it doesn't say OK.
Oh, you're talking across the front?
What happens if we push got it?
I don't know. It's different on my end, but so I don't know.
It goes away. That's just a Zoom thing telling you it's being recorded. And you just got it that you understand that.
Put it up here somewhere. There we go. No. Live stream.
Can you move it to the side?
What if you push leave the meeting?
Well, then you'll leave the meeting.
Okay.
You don't want to do that.
Live stream then, huh?
The got it is usually a blue button.
I see it.
Did Dick get off?
Oh, I think we might have lost him. Yeah.
Yeah, he may have hit the leave meeting button.
There you go. He left the meeting.
Well, we'll have to hope he gets back on.
As vice chairman, I can move forward with the meeting while Dick recaptures himself. Looking for the Board of Selectmen liaison. Is there anyone here to report?
We didn't do minutes yet.
We'll back up. Let's look for a motion to approve the minutes of August 2nd, August 16th, August 17th, and August 23rd.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Favor? Hearing none, motion passes. Moving on, if anyone is available from the Board of Selectmen.
I think Richard just got back in.
Okay. Where is he?
Dick, you're on mute.
I don't see him.
Lower left. Should be a button.
Dick?
There's Lucian.
Everybody's screen is different. I don't think he's on.
Him.
Let me see if I can unmute him.
You got to hit start video.
Start video.
What's it say? It says, what does it say? This account owner and those in the Zoom cloud recording and any participation and examination record to be something there. These individuals can share their understanding with apps and others. And then it says, leave the meeting or got it.
Yeah, that's
got it.
That's the disclaimer. I apologize. I've never had that problem before, but must be coming up.
Because it's also darkening all the pictures.
Really?
Yeah, but Bud, just press got it. It'll go away.
I don't think so. I did once.
Work for me, Bud. Try it. Try it again.
Huh?
It's on.
There he is.
Gone. It's gone.
Okay, am I there now?
You're here.
There you are.
Whoa, sorry about that. I hit that unmute and it lost me. So anyway, let's move on.
Dick, we approved the minutes and we're at Jackie.
Have you moved each minute separately?
No.
We moved them all together.
No, well, you really shouldn't, but technically we should move each one separately.
We don't have to do it that way.
Pardon?
Don't have to do it that way, Dick. There's no precedent for that. That's just something that you like to do.
Well, they're individual minutes and they really should be done individually voted on. Anyone want to comment to that? Do you want to accept that as is? So be it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's move forward.
Move forward. All right, Board of Selectmen. We have Board of Selectmen meeting. No one here from Board of Selectmen.
Hi, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, there she is. I'm sorry, Jackie. You have anything to report?
Yes. So one of the big highlights is the Meadowood land is probably going to be closing by the end of this month.
Yeah.
So that purchase. And then just a friendly update that this coming weekend is September Feast. It's on Friday and Saturday at the Performing Arts. It's not on Sunday, and that's a change.
Oh, okay.
That's my update.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Hearing none.
Thank you.
Moving on to Simsbury High School roofing. Al Jaconski update.
Great, thank you. We actually had a job meeting this morning at 9 o'clock, so fresh from the project. All the roof sections have been replaced. They're presently working on metal panels. If you drive by the building, you see all the new metal panels around the building. Yep. The steel for the new boiler room canopy is installed. A little bit of roofing left, trim and sealing to be done. Miscellaneous flashing on the roof. We're being told that they have about a week's left of work on that, about 2 weeks left on the metal panels, and probably a week left on the entry canopy. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday. We had to move it from Wednesday to Thursday at 8 o'clock. We'll see. It may be the last job meeting if we see their progress is sufficient. If not, we'll have another one next week.
They seem to be moving ahead. I was there the other day, and they're moving quite along. When do you think they would be done, Al?
Well, as of this morning, I was told that about 2 more weeks for metal work, 1 more week for miscellaneous flashing on the roof by the roofing crew, and probably a good week, maybe a week and a half to finish up that canopy over the boiler room. So
there should be no interference with the ongoing school, right, Jason?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Anything else, Al?
Well, there's some landscaping that needs to be done. You know, I doubt if we're going to get grass to grow before the end of the season. They did start working on that. Ruts are being filled. That's just the nature of the business. They need to get right up to the roof. And there were several areas that had grass and lawn on it, but they're working on that also. So we're in pretty good shape. You have in front of you their application for payment number 4. It is for $307,688.38, which still leaves a balance of $375,402.50. We definitely have enough money to cover the balance of the work that's left on the project.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Payment number 4 for $307,688.38. Okay, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on. Okay.
Dick, I think you have in front of you or in your package a budget summary that I created for the project. I think everybody should know where we are to date on the funding.
Please.
This is based on my budget estimate. My understanding is the town appropriated a little bit more, but we had the school construction grant total that we had for the project was $2,591,985.
Yeah.
Greenwood's contract was $1,891,000.
Right.
We already had a credit change order for the adhesive of $101,000. Our fees don't change. That's $60,475, and that does include that additional fee for rebidding the project. And then owner's cost. I'm estimating this, but I think I'm pretty accurate. Those are the testing, test cuts, soak down roofing, the ad in the paper. I believe that $7,000 is an accurate number.
Jason, how close is that?
It's fairly accurate. The only large amount that's missing off of this is the bond issuance fee, which is $52,000.
Yep.
Okay, that I wasn't aware of. Now you understand that the bond cost is not eligible for reimbursement.
No.
So you don't have to pay it out of this project, but that will not be eligible. So a current balance of $734,510, not including those bond costs. Some of the potential items that are coming up for your consideration. I know we're going to have another credit of $11,310, and that's for allowances for deck replacement and deteriorated wood blocking. Fortunately, we did not find anything at all, so we're getting a full credit back of $11,310. You remember the seam reinforcing for the solar panels that you were considering originally? That $106,000. Replacement of 10 rooftop fans. Now, this is an estimate. You're not going to get reimbursed for the replacement of the fans, but the fan covers, my understanding is eligible for reimbursement because it's part of the flashing. So the fan covers are about $60,000 of that $80,000 cost, and the fans themselves are about $20,000. There's 10 of them. If you do it out of this project, you're not going to get any reimbursement at all. My recommendation is to take it up as part of this job. Adjustment of access ladders. We have about 14 access ladders throughout the project. Some of the access ladders we knew were going to be interfered with the edge blocking, but some were just impossible for us to figure out. What happens is when tapered insulation starts growing up on the edge, it's really hard for us to determine how much higher it's going to be than the existing flashing exists. We ran into problems on 12 of the ladders. We're anticipating an additional cost of about $14,000 to raise those ladders. Yeah, there's quite a bit of them. So they're going to need a crane to do that. We also have some premium labor costs that for your consideration, and I would recommend that this is approved. It's $6,634.86. It's for work that was done on the last Sunday prior to school starting. Greenwood's position.
Do we have an invoice from them for that?
No, there's no invoice. These are just estimates that are still coming up. That's not for your approval today's meeting. I'm just telling you that it's coming up.
Okay.
At the onset of the project, to make a long story short, the week before start of school, they could not work on a Tuesday and Wednesday. That was opening of the gym. They were anticipating to work those days. We did not allow them to work that. So I think this is a legitimate extra. There's some abandoned louvers, mechanical louvers that are above the entry quarter that should be taken out as part of this project. It's going to make for a much cleaner condition. We're anticipating a cost of about $15,000. I think these numbers are fairly accurate. And if you do the math, not counting the bonding cost that Jason mentioned, we still have $524,185 left in the cookie jar.
Where are those abandoned louvers?
The abandoned louvers, Dick, it's kind of hard to, but if you look at the roof between the gym roof and the auditorium, it's on the inside of that roof. And those louvers right now are pretty much the bottom of those louvers.
Is that what they're working on today?
No, they weren't working on that today. No, they were working on metal work today.
The lower ones.
Yep. We were not aware that those louvers were abandoned. We didn't know that until we started the project. And Lewis, the head custodian, actually pointed it out that they're abandoned. It's basically a piece of sheet metal behind those louvers right now.
Huh.
They should be taken out as part of the job. So with that accounting, you still have about half a million left.
What's your comment, Jason, on the roof fans?
On the fans themselves are original to the building, so 1960s era.
Yeah.
So for the additional $20,000, while they're doing that process, I think it makes sense to knock that all out at once. I spoke with Amy Merriweather. It does fall within the bonding language, so it's within the building committee's ability to approve that.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have to wait for getting something from the contractor to approve it. We will approve it when it comes through.
Yeah, we just need the quotes.
Okay.
The only thing is there any way that the building committee could approve a not to exceed? Because I have a feeling these guys may be off the job before your next building committee meeting.
I personally don't have a problem with that, but go ahead. Who wants to talk about it? Rich, you wanted to say something?
That's a good suggestion because I think, like you said, they're going to be done and moved on to the next project before. And I wouldn't think they had anticipated that in the estimate that they gave you. They want to do that now. So I think we need to act with a not to exceed number.
Yeah.
I think we
on those fans, they're probably going to be off the job anyways.
Right.
Flashing though, they're going to be doing that now. So I think that's because that's the 60,000 of the 80.
Exactly.
That's the important part. I mean, as far as the roofing is concerned.
Hey, Al, how about the weather tightness without the fan covers?
Well,
is that an issue?
It could be an issue because those fan covers are in really bad shape. Right. I regret I didn't take some photographs of some of them, but those are original fan covers too, as Jason said, installed in 1964. Once they started removing them, some of them literally just fell apart in our hands. They could flash it. They could flash up the curb, but with the condition of those fans, you're probably going to have leaks at every one of those locations. So,
come back then.
Pardon me?
They will have to come back.
Exactly.
They can't do it now.
No.
Okay.
No. All right. So wait till we get these from the individual engineers, and we'll move on from there.
I was hoping for a solid estimate before your meeting. We had that
Right.
discussion with Jerry Casello, the project manager, and I guess he didn't have an opportunity to get that number, but
we
I
need to
think
get
it's somewhere in the vicinity of that 80,000.
more definition. Yeah. Okay.
Now, Andy has replaced other fans throughout the district, and he was getting cost, Andy, of about 8,000 to 10,000 per fan. So this is a legitimate number. It's not artificially inflated because it's a change order at the end of the job.
Yeah, that was a good price for those fans based upon that other fan we recently replaced at Henry James. I'm very much in favor of doing this. This is a great opportunity to upgrade the ventilation in the building. So
what do you want? Do you suggest we then put through and do not exceed the motion here?
yeah, I'm very much in favor of that. I think that will get the ball rolling. As Mike was saying, there's lead time on the fans that will get that started.
Okay.
So
all right. So how much you want? What do you want to put for not to exceed, Al?
Well, their original estimate was actually 82,445, but we were told that he was actually going to get a little bit of a break from his mechanical contractor. That's why I put in 80. I think if we approve not to exceed 80, I think we're going to be safe on that number.
Okay. Can we have a motion to do that?
Most fan prices just went up 5% September 1st. So I don't know if we want to take that into consideration.
I'll put that number in for consideration, and if they, go from there. If it comes in higher, then we have to come back and readjust it. But at least get started on it with something.
Exactly. At least it'll allow them to get going on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second. Okay, we have
I'll second it.
Motion to not to exceed $80,000, and we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay.
The other item, Dick, is that seam reinforcing for your future solar project. My understanding is that probably would be an eligible component by the state, because if you were doing a solar panel project at this point, you would have to do those seams, and the state would reimburse you for it. Again, it's a big number. It's 106,000.
Right.
There's a lot of labor involved here, but again, I think if you do it now, at least you should get some partial reimbursement from the state for this.
I think we want to confirm the fact we're going to get something back from the state before we go ahead and do it.
I could check in for you. I could check in with the state.
Okay, check and get back. So I can always we can always do our off the record approval for not to exceed. So let's see the state first. I want to get a commitment from the state before we put it out in motion.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Dick, do you mean an on the record email approval?
Yes.
Okay.
The record, right? Nothing's off the record, Dick.
Nothing's off the record. We have it on the mail. Okay.
The record.
We have an invoice in front of us, 21233, in the amount of $2,360 for Jaconski Home. So we have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? And that's going to be a balance of $3,500 in the future for a balance, but we're not quite done yet. So all those in favor?
I think Lucian had a comment.
Oh, go ahead. Comment. I'm sorry.
How about the louvers? You said that there is the louvers that you have to
Hold on. We're talking about his invoice first.
Okay.
There was a comment somebody said? All right. We have a motion on the floor to approve invoice number 21233 in amount of $2,360 fee for August from Jaconski Homes. Any more conversation?
Lucian, going back to the replacement of those louvers, I do not have a
hold on now. We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of this motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Okay. All right, Al, I'm sorry. Go ahead now.
Sorry about that. Lucian, going back to those louvers, I do not have an estimate from them yet. A proposal, I should say.
Right.
So it's,
Best guess.
There was purely a guess on my part that it's going to be 14,000. I have really no idea what it's going to cost.
And what were you proposing to do with the louvers?
The area where the abandoned louvers are going to go in are going to be bricked up. So their mason's going to have to come back. We did have masonry work on a project. And then there's a small intake louver. That's part of that louver, about maybe, Andy, I think maybe it's about 2 feet of one of the louvers. is still active. So that louver is going to be relocated in an adjacent area. So the new louver is going to be installed for that intake component. So there's mechanical work involved, there's masonry work involved, and there's a little bit of flashing work involved.
Can we do something else than masonry? Put some insulated panel there and
Up
just
there.
I don't know, Lucian, because then it's a problem with flashing. You know, we're going to be flashing up a metal panel. I think, you know, we had the mason on a project. We had other masonry work involved in raising the through wall flashing and weep poles. I think we should just break it up the way the adjacent area is.
We've been, yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments for Jaconski? Hearing none. Okay, move on. Al, you're all set. You are excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
We'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. Take care.
Okay. Moving on to Henry James Memorial School. The first thing is the architect's report. Is the architect here to talk to us?
Dick, Jennifer Mangiani called me on Monday. She had a conflict. She couldn't make the meeting tonight. And, you know, the report's pretty brief. It's basically their approval of the application for payment. Yep. So I thought that was appropriate.
Yep. Okay. Moving on to Collier.
Good evening.
Yes. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Hanging in there. Talk to us about your report for August.
Three big things just to note. Most of them we've talked about in the past is just formally moving the project to the school committee for acceptance. You'll see that under Roman numeral number 2 in my report.
School committee.
And to the Board of Education, so that they can formally accept the project as being completed. Because as you know, that starts the ticker with the state on the 20 years for reimbursement in the future projects. So getting that approved in their meeting minutes is important because that's what the state will look for.
I assume they're going to be looking for us to approve it first.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. This group should move it to them for approval.
Right. Okay, that's what we need to know. Okay.
Yep. And then the next item is just, you know, the payment of invoices. We're getting to the end here. I know Steve has one more after this, but anything else, if you guys can get paid, again, that's going to trigger, you know, falling in line for the audit for the state. So moving any invoices that are out there, moving those forward. And then the last item is in Roman numeral number 4. And Steve, myself, and Jason have been working on this. And this is just getting all the state forms aligned. So that's the next biggest step that we have.
Right. How far along are you there?
Steve's put forward a draft, and he has his team working on it right now. So hopefully we'll have a revised one. You know, Steve, you can correct me, but I think in the next week or maybe 2 weeks at most, we could have a revised back to us, and then that way there, Jason can move it along.
Do you see any problems with their approvals?
With the state? No, just the timing of it. It takes a long time to get through the process with them. That's why for the past couple of months I've been bringing this up, because once we get in line to get in the audit, at best it's 6 months. Right now it's running 9 to 12 months.
Oh, really?
Point. Yeah. They're just backed up.
Huh. Okay.
And those are the 3 major points. I don't know if there's any other questions. As Jeff noted with Jennifer's report, it's short. Things are coming to a close.
Great. What is your feeling on this project? How do you feel about it?
It came out beautiful. I mean, it's a great facility. The auditorium is fantastic. The media center is, my understanding, being utilized, and everybody seems to like it that I interacted with, along with all the other new classrooms and revamped classrooms.
What do you see as closure?
As closure, the item holding us up, or?
Right.
At this point, it's just the acceptance of the lawn, and then there's a couple of trees under warranty items that need to be changed.
What is your suggestion there?
Well, the lawn, hopefully the landscape architect will be out in the next few weeks and review it. Because
they reviewed that already.
They did a couple of times, and as far as I know, there hasn't been a formal. It just wasn't coming in. They had some problems with germination.
Whereabouts?
It was at the auditorium area and then over
What
by
side of the
meeting
auditorium?
center. The front portion of it.
The front portion of it.
Yep.
Dick, there were some bare spots in front of the auditorium at the main entrance of the school and the sidewalk that goes back to the media center.
Yeah.
And all those areas, as we discussed the last two meetings, required reseeding in the planting season, which is now, and it was actually done yesterday. So we'll give it a few weeks and then we'll have the landscape architect back out to bless it and turn it over. And, you know, that'll be the last item to complete for the punch list. And then as Ken mentioned, there's a couple trees that have died that'll be replaced in October under the warranty. They're not digging the trees at the nurseries until October.
What is that?
Excuse me?
Your mic kicked out for a second.
So something kicked out on us. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So there's a few trees that need replacing under the warranty, but it is a warranty item. So those won't hold up any closeout aspects of the project. So
Okay.
at Ken's point, you know,
let Colliers finish up. Let Colliers finish up.
Sure.
Colliers, all right. In reference to the two items that you wanted, anything you want from us, you need approval from us to move the project to the Board of Education for their approval.
Yeah, that would be the big thing, is coordinating that so that it gets approved by them. Again, that starts the 20 years.
Okay.
You know,
Is there any questions from anybody on the committee regarding that? Can we have a motion to move the project to the Board of Education for approval? I hear no
So
motion.
moved. So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Any conversation?
Has the architect recommended that that's what we do? Have they accepted the project?
That's normal. That's normal. We do it normally.
Yeah, the substantial completion was signed back. I think the final one was August of last year. And then there was just punch list items. So yeah, about a year ago, they accepted the project as substantially complete.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, anybody saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Okay, so we move it along to the Board of Education. I guess we do that through Jeff or through Jason. Which one of the two of you will handle that?
I'll be at the next meeting.
Jason? Okay, Jason, if you would tell them we approved it to move to them for approval.
We'll do that.
Okay, and your next item is what? I'm sorry?
I'm all set.
You're all set?
Yep.
Anything
Thank
else?
you.
Any questions of Colliers?
I just have a question, is that with your contract with Colliers, there's still plenty of time for you to do all the closeout documentation that is necessary to close that job out, because that's always a concern at the end of the job. We don't want you to run out of time.
Yeah. At this point, we're up against it with our time, but you know, we can talk about that further. Yeah, I think
They have to come back to us and request more time.
We might. I think there's $1,000 to $700 left.
Do we have a bill? I don't see a bill in here for this month.
No, we haven't billed you guys in a while because I think the last one was,
want to make sure.
you know, $700, and I can't remember, we had $1,500 or $2,000, but there isn't much on there.
What would be your best guess as to how much more time or money you would need to close this job out?
Ooh. With the way the state's going right now, I'd have a hard time guessing on that, Mr. Durr. You know, typically, you know, those audit processes take about a week. So
just your part of it, Ken. Just your part of it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just you know, talking it out. They take at least a week, and you know, I'd say it's probably a day and a half of our time between emails and, you know, getting them information and having a meeting with them, that type of thing. My guess.
Next meeting, you will be in the middle of that, I guess, but I think we need just to get an estimate from you.
Okay.
So we can anticipate the additional cost. That's all I'm asking. Is that, you know, we're always prepared to pay people to do the job, you know, on time and on budget and correctly, and we don't want to have you being held up because you don't have enough funds to get this job closed out.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't do that.
Very good shape.
So we need to get a number from you in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
They're
okay.
within the budget.
We will have that.
They're within the budget. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right,
Have a good
moving
night.
on. Moving on to construction manager update.
Hello, everyone. So you should have in your packet the report we give each month. The first page being the financials. So if you recall, all credits have been previously approved for allowances and the CM contingency. So that's why you see all the zeros there. So the number at the top there is our final contract value after all changes in credits. So
It's 18,489.
I'm looking at 17,757,647.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, under the first original.
Okay, so just make sure I get that in our minutes. It's 17,757,647.77.
Right. Yep. So that'll be reflected in the final signature with the town on change order 20.
Right. Okay.
So moving on to the schedule update in the next page. So nothing new to report as far as work completed, within the building. As I did mention, though, the landscaper was back on site yesterday to do the slice seeding in the areas that came up short previously. So we'll get some rain tonight. And we'll get that seeding going. So that'll be good. So, and again, I mentioned the 3 trees that aren't doing well, and he's going to replace those under warranty. We've conferenced with the landscape architect about potential replacements, but he would like to see the same trees put in. Excuse me, and they're not digging those trees at nurseries until October. So they'll dig them. He'll get them over there and replant, and that'll complete his warranty work.
Okay.
There. So we are in the building with an HVAC item under warranty with Andy. We're working with the HVAC subcontractor on a VAV for a classroom. So that's underway right now as well, as far as trying to figure out what's going on with it and so forth. So there are no COPs to review tonight. So like I said, the contract is final. Unless you ask us to do something, that's it. No more COPs.
Okay.
I do have an update on the insurance claim for the water damage.
The 3 notices?
I'm sorry?
The 3 notices?
No,
That's separate, Dick.
Yep, that's separate. This is for the water damage.
Oh, I'm sorry. The water. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Yeah. So the pollution, Chubb is our pollution carrier. All indications are, I got an update from them today that they are paying the hazardous waste cleanup and monitoring and so forth, part of the claim in full, except $10,000 because we have a deductible with that policy. So Downs will be paying that $10,000 to the town directly to bring you whole on the issue between all 3 insurance companies and that $10,000 payment. So at the end of the day, the town will be whole on the issue. Of course, we have a requisition, which you'll get to. And then on the critical items at the bottom within the claims from MJ Daly, the 2 claims totaling just over $20,000. We have negotiated those claims to 0, so there'll be no impact financially for that. We're working out the final language with them now to close them out, to sign off, and eventually make a final payment to them. So,
okay, we make no payment to them until that's resolved.
That's correct.
Right. Okay.
Yep. So it's resolved, except just coming up with the language right now.
Right. Okay.
So,
Steve, they're billed out at 100% though, right? MJ Daily?
Now? We bill them this month at 100%. So when we do finalize on that, we can make a payment for them.
Okay.
That was part of the negotiation to be ready to pay them.
Okay. Any questions to them at this point from Downs? All right, hearing none, we have an application number 29 from Downs for a payment of $109,551.43. So I hear a motion.
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Second. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, that takes care of Mr. Downs. Thank you very, very much, sir.
If I could ask Steve a follow-up question.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Steve, I was just curious with the rough breakdown of the different carriers that were involved in this $200,000 issue, 216,000, I guess. What percentage of that was covered by the town's insurance versus what percentage of that was covered by Downs insurance? You said they were going to.
Yeah, I think Jeff can correct me, but I believe your builder's risk carrier covered about 80,000 of it.
All right.
And our two carriers have the balance.
Okay, so it was like a 2/3, 1/3 kind of thing, or
yeah, something
60-40,
like
whatever. Okay, all right. Well, that's reassuring, and I just want to thank you for working so hard on this this 3 notices of claim. You know, with Daly and with Greenwood, so that we don't have any additional charges
out there now with COVID. Yeah, it's a challenge, but we got through it. So.
We learned a lesson there.
Great.
We learned. Okay, moving on.
Yes, Steve.
Anything else to Downs? Hearing nothing, Mr. Downs, Mr. Steve, you're all set. You can.
Okay, have a good night, everyone.
Going away from us.
Good night, Steve. Thanks.
Okay, moving on to number 5, Latimer Lane, architect status. Architect status, as you know, we have selected one, and we've been negotiating with them. And I think, Jason, you want to fill us in on that? We're pretty well set with Tecton now at this point, are we not?
We are. We're just finalizing the contract.
Okay. And letters have been sent out to all the rest saying that we thank them for applying, thank them for their information, and sorry, but we're going in a different direction. And so everyone's been notified as far as the architects go. Is there anything else, any questions you want on the architect's side?
Have they started work on design? Or
Yes.
are they waiting for the contract?
They're not waiting.
They've been playing games. I'm sorry, Jason.
They're not waiting. They have been working on scheduling the surveys, wetland survey, site survey, all those things.
In contact with the state.
Yeah. Initially, we were working on a letter of intent, but we're so close on the contract, we've decided they're going by our intent to write a letter of intent. So they have been working on the design and on moving forward.
Now, we met with them and they're moving ahead, so it's moving. And they're also working on helping us discuss what we're going to do with the owner's rep, so on and so forth. And that's our next case is the owner's representative status. We have shortlisted it down. We're negotiating now. We have a meeting next Monday with them to hopefully finalize their fee and move them ahead, and prefer not to get on here on reference to what their fees are at this time. But once we settle that, we will pass it on to you folks. Any questions you have, you're free to answer.
Hey, Dick, Ryan has a question.
Ryan has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan, yes.
Thank you. Are we going to have this body going to have an opportunity to see those contracts before they're inked?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you.
We're going to have an opportunity to see the architect's contract before they sign it. I have some significant concerns, especially given the accelerated nature of the design process in this. And I would want to make sure that certain provisions are included that may not be standard. So I would hope we would have an opportunity to see that contract, and it's not just being.
Well, you'll see it, but they'll probably sign it before you get to it, because we give it to the attorney, and the attorney says it's fine and move forward to it. Is there something you'd like?
Has anybody from this group?
Excuse me, if I may finish, Ryan. If I may finish, if there's something you'd like to see in the contract that you're not too sure, like these things you just asked, if you'd be kind enough to just send us a little note to Jeff and myself saying, hey, I'm just curious to see the A is covered in this contract, B is covered in C. Let's see what we can do to get it in before we move ahead.
That's one way to do it. The easier way to do it is to get a copy of whatever they're working on now. At this point, they've already pushed things across the table, it sounds like. It would be,
Jeff,
if you said you're close on the contract.
Yeah, it's not final. It's still with the town attorney, a portion of it.
I think it would be helpful to understand what kind of terms we're moving back and forth to understand if that's the type of project that's going to allow this project to move forward in an expedited manner and protect our interests. Because there are some, we're talking about what a 7-8 month design phase that's really compressed to 6 if you include the state grant process. I would think that the construction experts would want to take a look at what's involved in this contract before we ink it, but that's just me.
Ryan, I kind of hear what you're saying. If we could get maybe a summary of the contracts, at least, kind of a bullet list of the process that might be easier to follow.
Jeff, you have any comments? Your son's off. Jeff?
Dick, I don't have a problem sharing the contract with the committee if the town attorney's okay with it. I think it's pretty close. I think by the end of the week we might have a final version of it and we could forward it on.
Maybe we look at it before we approve it and move forward.
Just again, the time is of the essence. We want to get it signed.
Right. Okay, we'll do that, Ryan. We'll get a copy to you. See
that work for you, Ryan?
Yeah, again, and I'm not claiming to be the attorney, but I would appreciate taking a look at it. Thank you.
We'll get a copy to you. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions in regard to the architects? Any questions regarding the owner's rep?
I got a question, Dick.
Go ahead, Mike.
There was, I think, supposed to be a meeting to talk about the schedule and the completion date. Did that happen?
Yes. We've had several. We'll have some more coming. We had one just today, as a matter of fact. Jason, you want to talk about today's?
Sure. Yeah, we brought together the superintendent and Dick, myself, Jeff, Neil Sullivan was present as well. Went through the concerns about the compressed timeline and went through the reasons behind that and possible options in terms of the swing space. The feeling was that Jeff Wazinski's point was that the swing space should not be an issue. We can also look into alternatives like modulars if we had to, but as we move in our next couple of meetings with design, the 18 months is still, after discussion, something they want to stay with.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? I let you know that in reference to the owner's rep status is reference to the contract itself. I received and have inquired out to all my contacts, other public building committee people across the state, and got back, what, Jeff, 6 different contracts of owners, representatives, what they do, how they do it, so on and so forth, and what their fees have been across the state of Connecticut, which will give us a good arm and tool to use when we sit and negotiate with ARCUS. So that was very, very helpful. And there were 6 towns that came back and sent me a copy of their contract, which was very unusual. So we appreciated that. Any other comments? Okay, any other business? Any old business? Any new business? Jeff, I look to you for our next meeting.
Yeah, a regular meeting, I think, in October, unless there's a need for a special.
I'm just wondering, with this coming up between the architect and the owner's rep, should we have a special meeting to get our construction manager RFP out?
I'll defer to Jason on that. I don't know how the timing on that's going to work out with the next meeting.
I refer to our committee. Do we want to sit and wait for a month, or do you want to get it done ASAP?
What's the process? Are we going to have the owner's rep draft an RFP and then we review it before it gets sent out?
Well, either we can come up with it and they can review it, or they can come up with it and we review it. Either way, I think we need to come up with an RFP and get it out to owners, to get out to the CM ASAP, so we get moving this project along as quickly as we possibly can. So go either way at this point. Jeff, what do you think? We have really had no comment in reference to what we require first.
I think if we can get this owner's rep on board in the next week or so, we could probably get a draft RFP for the agenda of the next regular meeting.
Okay.
I don't know that it could be done.
Would that be too long, or do you think that'd be too long to wait? Or do you think we should move before that?
I think if it's ready, we could do an earlier meeting, but I just don't, Jason, I don't know if we can
get it ready or not.
I don't know if we're going to be there.
Okay, if we can schedule our next meeting as our regular monthly meeting at this time of the month, as always, and if something comes up in the meantime, we can call for a special meeting to get it done quicker if we have to. Does that make sounds with everybody? Ryan?
Yeah. In our discussions about the CM with the owner's rep, we had some discussion of trying to get the CM contract drafted prior to the issuance of the RFP, because it would give the town greater leverage in those negotiations.
And we're hoping our owner's rep would come up with one they've used in the past. Take a look at theirs first.
Right. That's still the plan, is to try to have the contract prior.
Look at that first. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's definitely going to take a little longer than a week to get that done.
Hope not. I'm sure the owner's rep, once they get selected, must have 2 or 3 in their file somewhere they've done in the past that we can take a peek at.
Tecton's opinion was that they could provide us with a boilerplate, and they've had Arcadis work through something like that within
Hartford,
less than a month, certainly within a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yep. There seems to be a connection here, so it should work out well. Okay.
We need the CM as soon as possible, because I don't know what the schedule for the design schedule is, but there is schematic design, design development, and construction documents. At each phase, we need to see a budget, if we are on the budget with the project. So we need the CM as soon as possible to help with the cost of the project.
We're working on it.
Also, we need the commissioning agent.
Commissioning agent.
Yep.
That's part of design review.
That's design review, basically.
And we need the CM to help with phasing too. That may drive design.
I think we need to get these people on the board and sit them down and go through all this very, very carefully with them. And once they're here, we can get them down and say, here's what we have to have, here's what we have to do, here's what we need to have done, and let them come up with a schedule, and we can hit them on the head and say that's not good enough for us or whatever. But we've got to get some input from the outside as well. I think hopefully everybody agrees to that. Any other comments?
No. It's a very aggressive schedule, Dick. And to me, at least, it looks, well, maybe sometime in October, in the next meeting, we have an RFP or an RFQ for a commissioning agent. So by the time we get the commissioning agent, it's in November, and it's Thanksgiving and holidays, and we have to have documents completed by March, end of March, April at the latest. It's not a lot of time.
I know it's not a lot of time.
We have to push it. So if we have to meet again in 2 weeks or in a week, we meet again. So if we have to get a commissioning agent, let's make a decision. The commissioning agent, don't just, well, let's wait and see where we are. We need the documents and we need this thing to act fast, because otherwise it's not going to happen. Or whatever, if it happens, it's a piece of crap. It's only 20 minutes. I think that we are playing with.
I think we need to get some influence from our owner's rep and from our architect regarding a commissioning agent. So that's
let's move it. Let's ask them. Let's do it. Right?
Okay. Well, we're
the
moving.
Architect is moving on the letter of intent. Let's get it.
We're moving as quick as we can. We're moving as quickly as we can.
Well, Dick, if I can interject, you may want to schedule a special meeting in 2 weeks with the hope that we'll have some of this language ready to move at a more aggressive rate that Lucian's talking about, because I do see the spring of 2022.
Yeah, I agree.
Extremely busy and a shortage of all kinds of materials.
I agree.
Labor that we haven't seen so far. We kind of just came off.
Labor is not the only factor. We got material problems. We're already talking about not getting materials on here.
Exactly. So and they may have to make a design change because we can't get materials for a year or something. So therefore, the Lucian's on the right track. I think we should meet in 2 weeks.
I have no problem, Lucian, coming up to the meeting in 2 weeks if that's what we can get these people to come up with it. But we can't announce that right now until we do it. So that's what I'm saying. Can we tentatively plan to have a meeting no later than a month from today? And if one comes up, we'll get back to you and say, we're going to have a special meeting on such a day. It's the only way we can do it at this point to see who's already up and running. In reference
to push them a little bit, though.
Yeah, in reference to the commissioning agent, Jeff, I don't know, you have any comments in that area?
I don't. I think that'll be a simpler process than a CM in terms of procurement. So that's something maybe could happen fairly quickly.
Yeah, it should.
Like the CM, I think it's important to get the input from the owner's rep
first, yeah,
and the architect.
Okay.
And in terms of the contract, if we could include a draft contract in the RFP, we would do that. I think that was the intent. I think we talked about that at the last meeting.
We did.
So there's no surprises, in terms of what the contract language is.
Right.
And we have to get into a negotiation on language later.
Right. But no, we can put a sample in the RFP and say the sample contract is, section 5. Do we have your approval of that at least?
Right. Yeah. But tentatively, I mean, if you want to just set a tentative date of like the 20th, the Monday, is that something that'll work for a meeting?
Well, I would say that's a month from now. It's our normal meeting night. So it's planned to do that and go from there.
No, I'm thinking September 20th.
Special, I'm sorry, the 20th. I beg your pardon.
And then, we could or just not formally schedule it if we don't have anything for that meeting. Does that help?
I think it makes sense. Does anybody else think about that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on. We need to meet more than once a month.
Yeah, I think we're going to end up meeting more than once a month come the future here. It's going to be a real concern. This project is going to be a real hassle for us. All right, so you want to schedule the 20th? I'm sorry,
yeah, tentatively, and I think based on where Jason is and where we are, we can confirm it the week, as early as possible. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. So next meeting will be, and we want to do it via Zoom.
Same thing.
Okay. Do it via Zoom.
Yeah. Same meeting.
Okay. All right. So we have in our regular meeting, our next meeting would be the 20th, if not sooner, and it'll be via Zoom. Any other comments?
One comment, Jeff. I think Mark Scully from Sustainability is probably going to get in touch with you about this project. They've got a lot of ideas about efficiency.
Yeah, I thought Dick had said that we would ask them to submit some comment.
Yeah, he's got
committee.
Commentary. I think it's going to be easier if you talk to him, but he'll put it in writing for you if you need it.
Yeah, that's fine. I saw him tonight. He didn't say anything to me. I wonder.
Yeah, well, I'm on sustainability, and I'm like, well, you saw him. You didn't say anything. He's like, oh, I forgot.
No, we should have that in writing so we can put it before us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Any other comments? I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, very, very much. And you sure will be hearing from us. We got a lot of time coming up here in the very near future for us. So look forward to seeing you. Hang in there. Thank you. Take care. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.